you should be
I
consistent.
still remember that on weekends I used to devote 7 to 8 hours.
Mhm.
I
That's great.
thought that these are the only 2 days I have, Saturday and Sunday. I have to give it my all. So for 7 to 8 hours, I used to sit on the weekends, and for weekdays, I used to try to sit for 3 hours, but minimum 2 to 2.5 hours. I maintained my error logs very religiously because I was facing a lot of problem in CR, as I told. So for CR, I like for every subject, but particularly for CR, I never skipped any mistake. I used to record each and everything. Why did it go wrong? And what is there a concept which I'm missing, or am I doing silly mistakes? What is it that is making the question wrong?
Absolutely.
So error logs is another thing which is important. And the other thing I would like to say is that I gave my exam online. So this was the problem. I never thought, like, unfortunately, what happened on the test day.
So first of all, welcome and congratulations. It's really an achievement that is terrific because we used to call ourselves Mission 770 when the GMAT was in the classic edition, and you really got into that. 715 is really equal to 770. So let's just understand what your journey was like, if there were some weaker areas, and let's go chronologically, and then I'll ask about the exam as well, please.
So I'll start with a little bit of introduction.
Right.
So I graduated from SRCC in 2020. Post that, I took up my master's in economics from Chennai. Then I have 2 years of experience, but I thought I'm not satisfied with what I'm doing, and so I thought of taking my GMAT exam and going for an MBA.
So you did
So
BA in economics, that
yes,
is all, and then MA in economics.
MA in
More
economics,
okay.
right?
Yeah, got it. Yeah.
Yeah, so like there was a family function or something where I met my cousin. So she only gave me the motivation to go for GMAT because she recently gave her GMAT last year, and she's like in a good university right now.
Right.
So she told me that you have a good background and all, so why don't you give it a shot? I said yeah. Then I she got your number, Richa's number, from her only.
Right.
Then I reached out to Richa and like consulted everything, and then I joined January batch,
Right.
self-paced batch. I started my prep on 20th Jan,
Okay.
and I was very focused in the beginning. Like for 2 months, I was very focused. I diligently did all my pre-work, post-work, everything according to the Excel file which you gave.
Right.
And like somewhere around May, I felt I lost my motivation for a week or two. I was not able to study, and I didn't have any mood to study. But then that delayed my prep a little bit because
Okay.
I was focusing to give my exam around May.
But
that did delay my prep a little bit.
right.
And going on to my weaker areas, I think verbal was the area which I struggled with a lot, and particularly CR in that. I still remember that when I started with the prep, I like all my questions, like if I scale it out of 20, around 12 questions were wrong.
Okay.
So it was a challenge for me. I used to talk to a lot of people like, is it the same with you? Was it the same with you? Or is it just me? But then I used to watch the videos which you upload on YouTube and everything. But then you said in one of the videos that you also got some 53 something 153 questions wrong
Right. In CR itself, yes.
Yes. So I motivated myself saying that okay, we can do it. It's the beginning only. I think practice will make me better. So CR was the weak area for me. Quant, I don't think I struggled with much.
How about
And
RC also? Just give. I mean, was that straightforward, or did you learn from
RC,
Octave and then apply? What was it like?
yes. So like I'll talk about my demo session. When I had the demo session before joining the course, I remember I had 2 questions for RC and both of them went wrong. So because I didn't know Octave at that time, I used all my gut and everything. So like when you taught Octave in the class, I thought, okay, this is easy with the technique which you're telling. So I adapted that technique and practiced a lot, I would say. Yeah. So primary purpose questions were not a problem for me.
Right.
But the inference questions were a little tricky.
Right.
But eventually, I don't think I faced a lot of problem with RC. It was CR for me, which was challenging.
All right. And take us through quant and DI prep as well. Yeah.
So for quant, I was very comfortable because the initial videos from YouTube were very helpful for concept building. And then I did my pre-work, like everything, 700 to 800 level questions. And for DS, I did DS 436.
Right.
And apart from that, I don't think much is needed. If you solve each and every 700 to 800 level questions, I think you'll be able to ace your quant section in the exam.
Right. Yeah. So quant anyway wasn't a challenge. So tell us about the DI section and how did you use the portal resources and eventually the exam experience. We'll go chronologically. Yeah.
Yeah. So for DI, I started my DI prep at a very later stage. I started with my quant and verbal together, but DI came at a very later stage. So DI I could not practice much because I thought, because I had planned everything in my mind that I'll give my GMAT in May, but eventually that got a little delayed. And because I had this time frame in my mind that what if my first exam don't go well, so I'll have to plan for the second one. So there should be enough time in between those two exams. So I honestly did not give much time to DI. I did the pre-work, all the 4 videos, and then I moved on to the portal. I practiced a lot of section-wise tests. But
DI anyway is mostly on portal, very, very little on this. Yeah. So,
yes. And I was having a little problem with pacing because there is a lot to read. Honestly, one question has three tabs, and there's a lot of information to be, understand in that limited period of time.
Right.
So I believe DI was a challenge for me because I could not practice much. Honestly, I remember I just practiced for, I guess, 20 days for DI, and along with that, I used to practice some other subjects. So I did not focus much on DI.
Could you finish the portal resources particularly for DI, or did you not finish?
No, I did not. I did not.
Right.
So that was for the portal.
Tell us about your mock experience, official mocks, portal mocks also, and how you use the portal.
Yeah. So for portal, I did not do a lot of topic-wise tests. I did section-wise tests.
Right.
And I was scoring pretty well in quant, and verbal was fine later. But DI was something which I was struggling with towards the end of the section. Like I was able to solve only 16 to 17 questions.
Okay.
I was not able to solve all of them. So that was a little bit challenge for me because I was very anxious that how will I able to complete my exam if I'm not able to do it in practice. But then I practiced a lot and eventually it happened.
Right. And tell us your exam experience as well. What was the section order you took, and what were your mock scores towards the end? Were they matching the scores that you got finally?
Yeah, so I remember I gave my first mock test from top portal. I scored somewhere around 635. And then I was very demotivated because I thought I'll give my exam in the next 15 days, but I thought I was short of preparations at that time. But then after 2-3 days, I revised all the topics which I felt needed more revision. And then after 3 or 4 days, I gave another mock. I scored somewhere around 685. Then I thought, okay, I'm doing well. I'll be able to do it.
Right.
And I gave one more test from the top portal, and I again got 685. I said, okay, then like top portal, I knew that it was a little difficult from what we get in the official GMAT. So then I gave the official mocks. I was scoring somewhere around 705 in that. I said, okay, let's give it. I don't want to delay my exam anymore because I had that in mind. If I don't score well in the first one, then I have to have that extra time for the second one. Yeah. So I did not delay it much. I booked it and then I gave it.
And a couple of things that always people feel about this. First is the section order you took, and the second thing, anxiety and nerves issues, and the third thing, was there anything unusual? So we'll go one by one. Just tell us what was the order.
Yeah, so my order was DI, quant, and then verbal. Because I thought DI was the section I struggled with a lot. So I thought I'll do it in the beginning because towards the end I might get exhausted. So I won't be able to give it my 100%. And then quant, I took it in the middle because I was very comfortable with it. And I knew I'll be able to finish quant. Quant was not a problem. And then I took a break and then I went for verbal. Anything unusual on your test compared to what you had seen? Anything that threw you off guard altogether? Tell me, please. So nothing unusual. I would say that DI was all about pacing. I didn't find any question unusual in that. But for quant, I would say there were these 2 questions. I don't remember the serial number exactly, but somewhere around 20th question in quant, it was related to arithmetic. And I wasted 8 minutes on that. 20th, but there are only 21 questions. So maybe you saved a lot of time and then. I did. But that was the only question I struggled with. It took me 8 minutes and I did it wrong. Okay. And was it something that you got stuck with because something you misinterpreted, or was it just a very tough question, unusual one for you? I had not seen it before, honestly. Or maybe because of the time that got to me. Okay, the time is going. I have to mark it right. Whatever, but I was not able to. That's okay. I mean, just asking. Okay. And in verbal, anything unusual? DI, not much. Quant, one question that you really. But were you able to finish the quant section still? Yes. Because the questions which came earlier, like 1 to 10, I was able to solve it in a very less time, and because I knew the questions towards the end would become a little more difficult. So that was the only question I faced problem with. Otherwise, it was fine only. Okay. And for the verbal section, I would say I was lucky enough that I did not get any long stems of RC passages. Right. Yeah, so I was only concerned with the length of the passage because that creates a sense of
Yeah,
scare.
some sort of panic.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
definitely.
That
Some people have reported very long passages also. So yeah, would have heard their feedback
yeah,
as well. But
yeah,
good to know. Okay, it didn't happen
yeah.
in your case.
I was
Uh,
lucky enough that I did not get any long stems, so I was pretty satisfied. And yeah, but verbal was not a problem. It was easy only. What Octave really helped.
mhm.
I used like it was in my conscience muscle. It had become my muscle memory that okay, Octave.
Okay, all right. And CR, which was your tough section in the beginning, was
Yeah,
also handled well on the exam day finally?
yes, it did. I got 3 questions wrong in verbal, and out of those three, all of them were from CR only. But I think towards the end of my prep, I was very much prepared with CR compared to the initial days.
Right, right.
So yeah, I think it was great. The
So,
techniques were really helpful. The assumption, evaluate, and
mhm,
everything.
right. Superb. And now that you're on the other side, what are the tips people should do and should not do? Some sort of do's and don'ts, if you have, please share.
Yeah. So I would say that like one should always should religiously devote at least 2 hours a day
Hmm.
to the study, because if you don't like make it a schedule to do it every day, you'll think okay, kal ho jayega, parso jayega, but that would delay your prep by a day. Matlab, eventually you will not be able to
Hmm.
target whatever month.
Did you have very hectic work schedule as well? I mean, how did you manage it alongside? Just tell me.
Yeah. So like in January, I had hybrid mode,
Mhm,
but like around March and all, I started going to office daily. It was a work from office schedule,
mm,
so it became a little difficult towards the end, and that's why I lost my motivation in March, because I was not able to focus. I was very tired coming back from
mm.
office, and it was very difficult to even sit for an hour.
Right.
So that became a challenge for me, but luckily my manager and all were really supportive. They knew
Mm,
about me giving my exam, so they helped me a lot with the
right.
work and all. But yeah, eventually you are the one who has to practice.
So you have to be very consistent, at least for
Of
2 hours. I
course,
mean, 3 hours
of
is
course.
ideal, but 2 hours at least you should be
I
consistent.
still remember that on weekends I used to devote 7 to 8 hours.
Hmm. That's
I
great.
thought, yeah, I thought that these are the only 2 days I have, Saturday and Sunday. I have to give it my all. So for 7 to 8 hours, I used to sit on the weekends, and for weekdays, I used to try to sit for 3 hours, but minimum 2 to 2.5 hours.
Superb. Any other tip you will have? Do this or don't do this, please. So,
Yeah, so like in the initial days for concept building, I think you should write everything, make proper notes. If I say for CR, you should write all the concepts, and if you like are solving the question, you should note down the key areas and the points which should be like remembered in order to give the answer. So that really helped me for concept building. I remember that okay, this is an inference question, I have to do this. This is an evaluate question, I have to do this. So
right,
writing really helped me, and I never did anything in my mind. It was all on the paper. I
right,
think
right.
yeah, and the other thing, I maintain my error logs very religiously, because I was facing a lot of problem in CR, as I told. So for CR, I like for every subject, but particularly for CR, I never skipped
Mm,
any mistake. I used to record each and everything. Why did it go wrong? And what is there a concept which I'm missing, or am I doing silly mistakes? What is it that is
right,
making the
right.
question wrong?
Absolutely.
So error logs is another thing which is important. And the other thing I would like to say is that I gave my exam online. So this was the problem. I never thought, like, unfortunately, what happened on the test day, there was a thunderstorm and my electricity went.
Oh,
So,
during the exam?
yes,
Okay.
I just started with the exam. I finished 10 questions and then my electricity went.
Hmm.
And I panicked. Like 5-7 minutes went by. They tried to call me, GMAT takers,
Hmm.
like exam taker. Then my phone was on silent. I couldn't respond to them. But then when the electricity came back, I connected to them again. I texted on the help desk that I'm unable to connect with the proctor.
Hmm.
And then they connected me again. And then they asked me what happened, what was the reason you got disconnected. So I told them. Then luckily my exam, like the time got paused,
Oh,
and I was able to resume the exam from where I left.
that's pretty
So
supportive of the GMAC, I'm sure. So that's very nice.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I was very sure that my exam is going to be cancelled and I'll have to uh, take it again. But
right.
luckily it didn't happen.
Super,
And
super.
but yeah, that was a really moment of panic. I was really
I
scared,
mean, these
like
are
what will happen.
uncontrollables and absolutely
Yeah,
nothing that you can do about.
yeah,
But still, I mean, good to know that at least the exam makers, I mean, the GMAT administrators are
yes,
supportive about this,
yes.
the reality. Okay, another thing, are you applying this year now, or will you wait and then apply? Just let us know that
So
as
I believe that I'll apply next year. I'll wait for this year
well.
because I still don't have 2 years of experience, and
Right,
I
right,
guess for like the foreign universities, 3 minimum years of experience is required.
right.
So I will wait for this year, and maybe I'll apply for the next
You
year.
have a super profile. Economics is one of the most sought after disciplines in schools abroad. So you have an extraordinary chance and you have a master's in it as well. Do keep in
Yes,
touch and let us know, I mean, about admissions and everything if you need any help there as well. And in
absolutely.
the meanwhile, just go through the entire Know the World set. It will really help you broaden everything because you will require that when you're applying
Yeah,
in a lot of detail. All right.
absolutely.
Thank you. Thank you, Khushboo, for your
Thank you,
time
sir.
and really all the very best for our applications next year. Do
Thank you,
keep in
sir.
touch. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and good luck, everyone.
Right. Bye bye. You can
Thanks.
stop your camera now. Bye bye.
Yeah.